Okay, so we are in OnShape. I said I wanted to give you a video of how you can import your AutoCAD file and then use that to actually create your extrusion in OnShape. So it was just like I thought. It was a little simpler. There are a couple of different ways to go through and do it. So we will kind of go about this one way. So go down to the left, you will see that there's a plus sign down there on the lower left bar where it says, if you hover over it and keep the cursor, it says insert new element. So this is where we will go ahead and import that DWG file. Now, I've already got this stored in my ARC drafting file, so you guys will have to kind of remember where you are storing your files at on your hard drive of your computer or whatever device you're using. Of course, we also want to be, and we can be storing these in Google Classroom as well. So notice I've got several different ones. Now, notice as you guys go, and I didn't really give you guys a file name to use for the Monticello Architectural Building, and that's okay. You guys are kind of naming the file itself, and you're attaching your first initial and last name, which is okay. But as we go, as we get more involved into it, I will be pretty specific as far as the actual name of the file, so that it just makes it a little easier for us to go back and find those. Even something here, so we got the floor plan. Most of you have followed the file naming convention that I asked for. But you see here, even something like saying, naming this my floor plan versus floor plan, or here you've got floor plans. All of those are minor differences that could cause us some problems as we try to find the files that we're looking at. So I'm going to go ahead right now. Let's take Ellie's here, and I'm going to import that. So we'll import this file, wait for it to come in. So we're good. All right, now you'll notice down here, Part Studio is where we're drawing this sketch at. Here it's opened it up. This is your drawing file, so we'll wait and see. So this comes in, this is the DWG. So right there, let's go back to Part Studio. We want to be in the Part Studio when we are creating the 3D model. So now I kind of have to go into Sketch. So I'm going to create a new sketch, select my sketch plane, select the top sketch plane, and then right up here on our sketch tools, I'm going to insert DXF or DWG. Now I do want to show you this. If you may see this as well, where it says insert an image. So all you have to do is click on that arrow and toggle to the DXF. Now you'll notice here, it's because we imported it, it is showing right here in the current document file because it is already attached to this. Now we could also, if we didn't see it there in other documents, if I go into my OnShape, I can have that loaded in, and we might already have those in here, so you could also be looking and having those saved in there as well. So for right now, we're going to go current document. So we'll select the floor plan. Now notice I have to zoom out. So we were zoomed in pretty close on this, and these are, you guys have drawn these 1-to-1 scale. So this is a life-size model that we're kind of creating in here. So you might have to zoom out on this when we go through. All right, so my sketch is done. I'm going to go ahead and click and my sketch is complete. Now, one of the things that you need to know, in order to extrude, you have to have closed features. So as I move my cursor around, notice I have a closed off rectangle with the lines that were drawn in the sketch here. Over in this corner, that shape, that kind of diamond shape, has been closed off. So before you even go to extrude, you might need to do some checking on your line drawings that have been imported in. If you've got any connections and I'll show you what I mean where things won't extrude. So now all of these rooms are not what I want to extrude. I want to actually extrude the wall. So when I do go to extrude this, I'm going to need to make sure that I am selecting on the actual wall space to kind of get into that, and I'll show you here in just a second. Now, here's one of the things that I'm talking about. So see how it highlights each of these. Those are all kind of closed entities that I can use. So right now, if I get right in between there, that highlights all the walls, so they're closed off. Now, if this line was connected, so you would not be able to highlight and get all your lines to be extruded. You'd have to go in and trim that line out or move it back so that you have basically what's referred to as a closed entity. So Ellie's got her closed entities here. She didn't have any issues with that. So all we have to do right now is go to extrude. So I select. Now notice how it kind of highlights those different closed entities. So I want to make sure that I select just the wall in between the inside and outside lines that were created. And we're going to extrude this. Notice it's a blind extrusion to 1 inch depth. So we'll go ahead and extrude that. Now, look how small that inch is. So again, we're full size here. So that's not very much material. And we have to think about it in terms of our wall height. So I come back over here to extrude. I right click and go back to edit, which brings this up. I want this to be an 8-foot wall. So I have to think about, okay, well, how many inches are in a foot? 12 inches. 8 times 12 is 96. So I'm going to type in 96 and hit enter. Now I can click the check mark. And now I've got my exterior walls. I'm good to go. So let's come back in here now to the top. I'm going to rotate it around on my view cube. I don't know that I really like, I kind of like Inventor where it'll rotate the full 90 degrees. This looks like it's every 15 degrees or so, and I'm sure there's probably a setting that we can change to fix that if we want our view cube to act differently. I just haven't played around enough to discover it yet. So now my next sketch, of course, is going to kind of be putting a ceiling on this. So I'm going to sketch one more time. My sketch plane now is the top of the wall. So I'm just going to click on the top of the wall to develop my sketch plane. And here I can create, again, you can go with a center point rectangle or a corner point rectangle. I'm going to do a corner point rectangle. And I'm going to come here. Let me zoom in. So I'm going to come right here to that. And we're going to go all the way up. So I left clicked over there. Now I'm zooming up over to this one. And I'm left clicking there. And that is my rectangular sketch. Let me come back to my view cube, go back to my isometric view. And we want to extrude that sketch. So now this is going to be the tricky part. So because probably the best way here, so since I'm having issues of selecting and getting those other lines to not be, is I can just come over here and I'll I want to extrude the whole sketch. So, and if you think about how thick your floors are, most likely you're probably about 12 inches on a floor. It might be 8 inches, might be 10 inches, depending on the subflooring and the structure, but we're going to allow 12 inches there on our depth, and we're going to click there. Now we have basically the walls and the ceiling of our house complete. So I hold the shift key down, press the roller track, and I can kind of move around this way. If I just press the roller track and move around, I can move around this way, or I can always come back to my view cube, get that in there. So that's the start of us getting our building put in place. So let me select the view here. We'll just kind of go up. Yeah, I want to look at the bottom so you can kind of see everything from the bottom with all the rooms. So, all right, come back to my isometric view, and we're going to, we've got this saved, so it's in there however you save it, and then we can kind of just exit out of this to close that document. You'll see I saved it as a test, so it's in there now, and we're good to go.